So, is everything good? Everything great? Now, why isn't it? This is pissing me off. Sync with my sink. I don't get this. Alright. Is there anyone actually watching? Gotta get back over there, because for some reason it doesn't link to my event. I don't know why. Hey John, what's going on? I'm trying to... Yeah, actually I put a light out front. There's a light behind my TV / monitor. I use just my TV now. So it should be clear. It was always behind me. I couldn't get one in front. So it's just a cheap LED out in front. For some reason it does not link to the event. It makes no sense. And I linked everything. I linked OSB, OBS, whatever it is. I linked everything and it won't. The event's still there. It's not saying the event is started. I don't know why it doesn't link up, but oh well. What am I doing today? Oh, the Bondtech. Give me just a minute. That's what I want there. Nine. Right about Bondtech and other extras. We got a whole 2 people. Who else is here? There's John and somebody else. Probably just me. I don't know, does it act like me when I watch my own stream? I don't know. Anyway, how's the audio? I got the audio kicked up too. Is it too loud? Am I getting feedback? I should use my headset, and then I can hear. I can turn the audio on in here, but that's a lot of work. Anyway, so I got the Bondtech extruder. Now this was what I was using right here. My little personal designed homemade extruder. It actually worked okay. Basically the same thing I have on the i3 clone, but on the monster over there with 900 millimeters of Bowden tube, it was having issues. It actually worked, just not well. So I decided to shell out the cash for the Bondtech extruder. Hey Wiley, what's going on? The Bondtech is nice, but what a pain to mount. They make the mount right here. I had to go through quite an ordeal to get it to mount. This is their suggested stock mount. You know, one of the problems with it is, how do you mount to that? These holes, mounting holes, don't line up to anything. Now, 2020, 2040 is a standard size for all printers, right? Most all printers now use a 2020 or 2040 or, you know, somewhere in that mathematical division of 20. Slot, grooves, aluminum. This doesn't match up to anything. Not only that, that's extremely thin. It's only 3 millimeters, which is very thin. Now, I can get this to hold by, even though it's thin, because this is HDPLA, so I can uneven it. So then I made my own, thinking I'd make it a little thicker, a little stronger, make it match up to the 2020. Problem is one, their screws are ridiculously short. Even after I did it with a 3 millimeter, basically this one, this is basically what I have on there now. Even after I bring it down to 3 millimeters, the screws barely catch the motor. And they're actually not lined up proper. I was very disappointed in that. The Bondtech holes to line up to the motor are actually a little off. And I thought it was just me at first, and then you can see I opened these up really big. These are almost 5 millimeter. It's only an M3 screw. And I was angling it really heavy to catch the motor. So I was having difficulties. This is basically the mount I have on there now. I can't show you because it's way over there and the camera won't reach, but it is over there. It is hooked up. I did change a few things. I did a little heavier infill here because, as you can see, I don't know if actually you can see that very well. When I baked it, I didn't cool it. I cooled it too fast, and the hot air inside pushed out or bubbled or something. And I also put, because this is flimsy right here, I put a couple of little angles on it that fit underneath the extruder and the motor. But this is basically what's on it now. A few other things I do that most people don't do. If you look at all my motor mounts, I put ribbing in it. This does two things. It makes thin pieces like this actually quite a bit stronger. It also allows the motor to vent if it starts getting warm. Not a lot, but it helps. And it's a good practice. People should be doing it more. It actually makes the plastic stronger within reason. If you twist it this way, it's really not, because you get the lip here, but the way you're printing it, it actually makes it, it's kind of like the corrugated sides of a semi. If you look at a semi truck, it's actually just a really thin piece of sheet metal on a semi truck, but when they corrugate it, make the ribs go in and out and in and out and in and out, it actually strengthens it, stiffens it. Just like, I probably do it with a piece of paper. Take a piece of paper, stand it up, it won't stand up, it has no strength. But if you corrugate it, fold for me. If you fold it, it makes it stronger. It can take weight. So, that's why I always print them with the corrugations in them. Now, it only works if the corrugation is the opposite direction of the extrusion. In other words, your layer height. So if the layers are this way, if you print it up, let's push this down so you can see the desk. If you put it this way, the corrugation works. If you print it this way, the corrugation will actually make it weaker because the layers aren't adhering well. So if it's going this way, when it's going, it's a stronger print. If it's going this way and it's just flowing in and out with each layer, it's actually a weaker print. Does that make sense? Anyway, that's why I corrugate. I always put these ribs in. Anything structural seems to help. I mean, this is actually pretty strong. I could break it if I really try, but I'm putting some serious force on it. If these hadn't bubbled, I'd probably be using this one. But it bubbled. It says annealed. And it is, I can't believe I'm going to say this. I used to love this company. This is Maker Geeks. That whole printer is Maker Geeks. Maker Geeks HD Raptor PLA. That whole printer. Now I'm going to have to find something else. Probably reprint the whole printer. Because I'm tired of Maker Geeks. And their material, when printed properly and they supply it properly, is good material. They have a good product, or can have a good product. Let me say that. But they just don't. They do not do well in a product. It just doesn't work well. They don't work well, I should say. Maker Geeks is very poor at customer service and getting out the product they need and all of that. So it looks like I'm going to be doing primarily protopasta, which I'm not real happy about. I love protopasta, but protopasta is ridiculously expensive. And it's always glitter. And I like the glitter. I like their line of filaments, but I wish they'd have flat colors as well. Instead of everything being full of glitter. Yay, glitter. Enough glitter. I'd like to see some flat shades that are nice. Get some. Start doing the matte too. They've got a couple 3 matte finish materials. That's actually pretty nice stuff. It looks good. I like it. But everyone seems to want glitter, and they won't do. From the discussion I had with them, anyways, it sounds like they'll never do like this kind of thing. This is what's up, Rover? I don't think Maker Geeks is ever going to do like this satin finish because they don't like doing the additives to it that make it this satiny. I don't know what it is. I got the impression when I was talking to them at Earth that it's a semi-toxic chemical that does it. I'm not exactly sure what it is. Some kind of additive to the material. I think it's awesome. This is Polyalchemy Elixir. And this one is CC3D's Copper. This is nice stuff. And it's way cheaper than this. Like $25 for a roll. A full roll. This is like $40 for a half or 3/4 roll. Nice. I still think this is one of my. This and their emerald green are my 2 favorite colors for Maker Geeks. I mean, Maker Geeks. Get Maker Geeks out of my head. Polyalchemy. I really wish I was like a multi-millionaire, billionaire, because I'd walk into Maker Geeks and I'd frickin' buy them out. Because the recipe is there. They have the recipe. the HTPLAs, some of their colors. I mean, I love this purple. It's a beautiful color. Their colors are good. You know, their material is generally good. I've gotten some bad extruded rolls in the past. And in the past, I always never had a problem with them. Everyone was crying about them. And until the end of last year and the beginning of this year, I never had a problem. If I had a problem with the roll, and I had problems with rolls. I had a couple of them actually come where the film was actually football shaped. You could just look at the end of it, and it looked like an American football. It had points and everything. It was bizarre. But, you know, I'd send them a picture, I'd have a new roll. Granted, they always took a while. They were always, you know, almost a made to order. So it was always 4 to 6 weeks, but I always got it. This year, I got half charges, and stuff didn't show up, and the real pisser was this, and you can't really see it on here, but I ordered 3 rolls of this Raptor purple. This is their HTPLA you can bake. All 3 rolls are a slight different color, and they're all the same color, but one of them was absolutely borderline transparent, which I've gotten rid of. I've used it up on demo stuff, and it was not good. It wasn't even transparent. It would have been, if I thought about it, it almost would have been a good filament, because the transparency kind of faded in and out. Whatever they use for the dye, whether it's just chunks, they didn't mix it well enough, whatever. But it had kind of a cool, when you printed with it, it had kind of a cool, I don't know, color transition between transparent and translucent. Does that make sense? Anyway, one roll was transparent, one roll was translucent, and one roll was pretty much a solid color. And when it's solid, it's not shiny. These are all from the last roll. I think I might actually have one more roll. These are all from the translucent roll. And the thing about it is once you bake it, anneal it, the translucent goes solid. So it really doesn't matter. It just stays shiny. Where their regular solid color wasn't even shiny when you printed it. And then you baked it, and it would be a real hard, solid color. And I like that. I don't want to see, when I'm making mechanical parts, I don't want to see through it, because then you just see the texture of the infill. It's distracting to me. Then you have the Walter Wobbler. This is also Maker Geeks HTPLA. Hey Michael, is it Michael? I can't read my own screen without my glasses. Are you a Michael or a Michelle? I gotta find my glasses. I can't see. And then I have a Walter Wobbler in Protopasta. This is Protopasta's Midnight. And this is the Maker Geeks Purple Raptor. Anyway, so back to the BMG extruder, since I sidetracked into the crappy filament, which isn't, again, I like the Maker Geeks filament, I just can't stand Maker Geeks, the company. The BMG extruder was a major pain in the butt. It doesn't melt well. It is definitely made to be a direct drive more than a Bowden extruder. You can make it a Bowden, it'll work. Okay, so it's a Michael. I just can't read my screen. It's too far away, and I got a pair of glasses here, but they're the wrong ones to read the screen. Sorry about that. Anyway, where was I? Oh, the BMG extruder. It's the Bondtech BMG. I should have said, I wonder if I can, I'll spin it around maybe later. Lots of mounting issues. All my different little mounts. This is their one that comes with it. It doesn't mount to anything. I don't know what they were planning on it mounting to. But these holes don't line up to anything that I can think of, except for maybe like a Ultimaker or something. So mounting was an issue. The screws are way too short. I was thinking about putting longer screws on, but the way you have to mount their drive gear off the motor, the screw is on the outside of the motor spindle. So if you extend it, like I do with anything else, I just shift it out a little bit to catch. You can't, because then the set screw won't sit on the motor shaft. So you're pretty much stuck with the really thin 3mm spacing. This isn't exactly 3mm, it won't mesh, which is kind of obnoxious, and this is thin. I mean, I guess it's okay, it's just an extruder. The pressures are all on the filament, not on the bracket so much. The only thing on the bracket it's doing is carrying the weight of the actual motor in the extruder, which I actually have a pretty big motor on it, but it don't need to. I'll probably buy a pancake for it. Anyway, substitute teaching school, and they would get my name wrong, taking tens. So I usually went by Mike. Yeah, that works. Hi, Mike. I got it working. This is basically the mount I'm using. I did change it a little. I put little brackets in to make it a little stronger here, but not a lot. Now the good thing is, boy does that thing have nut. When it's pushing, I was concerned I was going to blow my extruder or my hot end apart. That thing starts pushing. It don't slip, it don't bind, it just slams the filament through. Now that thing has, I don't know if you can see it over here, this PTFE tube, or cornucopia tube. Let's go back here so the mic can actually hear me. The tubing is 900mm, which is freaking long, because that's actually a 500mm printer. So it's a long tube. So my little homemade extruder was having issues pushing it. It did it, and actually I fixed this the same day I had ordered the BMG. I had done some modifications to this, and it was actually working pretty good. But it was making this weird, like, poppy sound. It wasn't slipping. I think it was crushing the filament too much. And I think it was literally crushing the filament, because I had the spring so tight and everything. So anyways, the BMG, though a pain in my butt to install, works beautifully. Oh my God, does it work? This was actually printed on it. I did this last night once I hooked up the BMG. The bottom of this thing is probably the best thing that's come out of that printer yet. I mean, that is really nice. And I was having problems with intermittent under extrusion. And at first I thought it was just, you know, what is up, Mr. German printing nerd? This came out really good. This is like amazingly good off of that printer. This is the best print that printer has done yet. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. It is definitely the best print that thing's done yet, to date. And the big old Walter Robler. And the little Walter Robler. But, yeah, the BMG is an inexpensive, I shouldn't say inexpensive, $80 is still pretty expensive considering what you got, especially when you look at what you got. It's basically a plastic gear with a couple of bearings and then the two extruder teeth, you know, gears. That's all you're really getting. The plastic case is not that big a deal. It is a fiber reinforced case, which I found interesting. It's almost like a fiberglass case. I always thought it was just a molded, it's not actually blue, it's purple. I know it looks blue on there, doesn't it? It's actually a kind of dark purple. My shirt is like a turquoisey blue. The color's off. I don't know why. Does it look purple in there? Yeah, it's purple. It's not actually blue. And it's a very deep dark purple. Again, going back to this is Maker Geeks Raptor PLA. It's a high temp PLA, and of course it's frickin' Maker Geeks, and I love this stuff. Hate Maker Geeks. No more. I'm not ordering from them anymore. If someone bought them out, I'd order again. As long as that guy owns it, that is running it, and it's being run the way it is now, I will not order Maker Geeks again. It's just not worth the hassle. And again, the material's there. They have the processing. The guys either got to sell the company and let somebody else run it, or just plain let somebody else run it and recover. But I'm surprised they're even still in business, to be honest with you. And they may not be. From what I've heard, they're probably just selling out what stock they've already made, and they may be going out. But anyway, I don't know. That's just rumors. But yes, the BMG, the Bondtech BMG extruder, which I think I already threw away the box, is a pain to mount, but well worth the headache in the long run. They should supply a different set of screws. They should change the location of the set screw for the actual gear drive off the motor, because the way it's set, you can't adjust the gear, which may be why they do it. They don't want you to adjust that gear. It's got to mesh at a certain part. The other thing that I found absolutely amazingly stupid, and I actually took a photo, did I put it onto here yet? Is they have a E3D style clamp on one side. One side has a PTFE tube clamp built right into it, which is very nice. It's probably one of the best ones I've seen to date so far. Now, I haven't looked at it long term. Here's my phone. Maybe I'll import those pictures now so I can show you. This needs to be this way. And of course I don't have a cable. Oh well. They have an E3D, you know, the circle clampy side, so you can use an E3D clamp, or you can use their built-in clamp for PTFE tubing. The problem is one side of it is too thick, and it's bizarre. It clamps together when you bolt it together, and one side the mount fits in perfectly, and the other side, the groove, is way too thick, so the mount won't fit. Makes no sense. I had to grind the crap out of my mount and modify it. Now I just had a cheapo aluminum one I bought off of eBay that I use, and I'm using it for the infeed. But last born, last informed. What's that got to do with anything? I'm the last born too, and I'm the last of 5. I have 4 older brothers. But, can I spin this thing without ripping anything apart? I probably should have done this before feeding a live stream, huh? I don't know if you can see that. Let me see. Can you actually see it? Yeah, sort of. Okay, the extruder, the BMG extruder. And I got this little stubby PTFE tube coming in, but the E3D style mount here, I had to modify to get it to mount. So there's definitely some issues. Well, yeah, I prefer not to hear half the stuff that's going on with my family. It's just easier that way. I have too big of a family. Like I said, I'm the last of 5 brothers. So, yeah, and they all have children. And now a couple of them have grandchildren already. So, it's just too much information in family. Something tragic happens, I want to know so I can help. Something awesome happens, I want to know. The day-to-day BS I don't care about. I don't need to know what, you know, my niece's granddaughter, my niece's daughter's eating oatmeal today. I just don't care. Then I don't know if that's, I don't even know what to say about that, buddy. Yeah, that can kind of suck. Anyway, so, time is it? 8:30. Because pretty soon Walter and Chris Riley are going to be streaming their MMU build, aren't they? Aren't they starting at 9 o'clock Eastern? How do you pop protects? Projects. Did I just say protects? Pause projects. Okay. That's a cool name. I like that the more I think about it. I think I've seen you on one of the other live streams. Like it. Do you watch Walters and all of those? Anyway. So there's that. BMG is a nice extruder from what basically I've had in a day of use to test out. I like the basic idea of it. The mounting could definitely be improved quite a bit. But other than that, it's a good extruder. There is no stopping it. Once that baby fires up, it's going. That, and when it does a retraction, oh my god, it sounds like a small jet airplane. I don't mean loud jet airplane, just that high-pitched whine like a turbocharged, jet engine. It's like bzz, bzz. It's kind of cool sounding. It scared me the first few times I did it. It is fast and loud. Because that's the other thing is, that Bondtech BMG comes with no instructions. None whatsoever. No gearing ratios, no estimated, nothing. They tell you nothing. And I went searching, and there's really not that much information about how to set that thing up. Now, when you start playing with it, if you're like me, you probably have a good idea what you're doing anyways. But for a newbie that goes, someone that goes on Facebook and is having problems, and everyone goes, oh, get the BMG, get the Bondtech extruder, that's what Prusa uses. And they go to mount that thing, you're just not going to be able to if they don't know what they're doing. A newbie would have a hell of a time getting that thing up and running. And again, it's not that difficult. I had a pretty good idea because I knew the gear ratios already and, the community. But even that, there doesn't seem to be a big community around the BMG and Bondtech extruders, which I find kind of strange. Oh, I think I have seen some of your videos. Now that I think about it. Your face and your little icon-y thing, avatar there looks familiar. So I'm sure I've seen one. Anyway, back to the BMG. Nice extruder, sum it up. It works. It's a real pain to mount. It's very strict on its setup. Really the only thing I dislike about it is having to have the super thin mounting plate here. I would have bought the aluminum one, but the aluminum one is basically just this right here. It's like 15 bucks. And again, these mounting holes don't line up to anything. I don't know what it was originally designed, what printer it was designed to mount to, but it does not mount to the channels on a 2020 or 2040 extrusion. It's way, way, way off. Way too big, as you can see. And it doesn't even line up this way. That was my next thought. It would line up, and it's close, but it actually doesn't line up. And I checked it too. I thought at first it was just my printing was off and I had, the holes moved. Nope. I've got that printer running good. That printer darn near dead on accurate on its sizing and stuff. But yes, once you get it mounted, you can print a Walter Wobbly rather easily. Walter Wobbly. I gotta get some weight in that one. Walter's drunk. He wobbles. Just kidding. One of these days, Walter might actually see this thing. I haven't released the files for it yet because I haven't quite gotten it the way I want it. But it should be this week. I should have enough time during the week. I don't have to work tomorrow, and I might play with it today. Anyway, so that's the BMG, and a little bit about the Walter Wobbly. Walter Head Wobbly. Walter wobbles, but he don't fall down. He just sits down. Oh, and the BMG, by the way, I got it from Printed Solid. Printed Solid. And this is not a paid advertisement. I just like these guys. I talk to them a lot. I talked to them at Earth. Where else did I see them? I don't know. Somewhere else I ran into them or talked to them. They're quite a bit cheaper than everyone else. They're $20 cheaper on that BMG extruder than anyone else. So if you're looking to get the Bondtech extruder and you want the simplicity of the BMG, which is a simple, it's basically a gear driven with, 2 extruder gears. It can't get much simpler. It's a good product. A little pricey, but $80 is better than $100 because everywhere else it's $99. And at Printed Solid in the US, it's $80 shipped. That's shipped anywhere in the US, the continental US. So it's a good deal getting it through Printed Solid. And they have the left and the right. That's the other weird thing is you need to know if you want the left or the right. I would also recommend getting their, which Printed Solid doesn't carry unfortunately. They have their own E3D style round clamp, hot end clamp, which I'm using here. I have a very, very short feed into of PTFE, which I'll probably extend later when I discover where I'm actually going to mount a filament spool holder, which after a year of building this thing I still haven't figured out exactly where I'm going to put it. So there's that. Anybody got any questions on the thing? Since I'm just babbling, repeating the same crap all over and over and over for 37 minutes and 24 seconds. I may actually get one for the new printer, which I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. But building this, during the build of that monstrosity, I miscalculated rather heavily and bought way too much extrusions. So I have 2 more 500 millimeter there, and I have a 15 millimeter. So I'm thinking I'll build another printer because that's about 1/3 of it right there. And I'm thinking about, I was going to do another like i3 CR10 knockoff custom build. I don't think I'm going to. I don't like the moving bed. I much prefer the square body bed. I just think it's more stable. These are V-groove. That 4020 is not V-groove, so I'd have to think about that also, how the wheels are going to run. But I'm thinking about building an Ultimaker style frame movement system and going smaller. That thing's a monster. That's actually, if I calculate it out right, I can actually make that 450 square cubed. And it's a 500 millimeter frame. So that's pretty big. Right now I only have it at 300 because that's all I can afford for the bed. The heated bed is 300 square. So that's 300 by 300 by 420 I think is right now. Is my max build height. Does anyone care about the Bondtech extruder? Do they have any questions? Do they want to know how it works? Do they want to know anything else? Anybody have any questions? Guess not. 7 whole people watching. Isn't that? I think that's a record for me. Coffee is good. Anyways, that's about it. That's all about the Bondtech extruder. I think I'm going to release this extruder anyways, because if you don't have such a big printer, and 900 millimeters of extrusion tube, Bowden tube. This is more than enough. And it's just your basic, basically a copy off the i3 I have, with some modifications to make it a little more nutty and tight, and can take flexibles. The way it's designed, I can punch flexibles through it without an issue. Though I haven't tried flexibles on that, I don't think it'll do it. But that long of an extrusion tube, Bowden tube, that's just too freaking big and long. So what's everyone doing this morning? On this rather nice Sunday morning here. It's cloudy, but it's cool and quiet. And I like that. Cool and quiet is my friend. What else do I gotta do to that printer? I need to modify, I need to clean up the wiring. God, the wiring's driving me nuts. Well, I think I'm gonna end it there because nobody seems to be caring, chatting, or paying attention for that matter. Oh, I saw that. That thing's pretty cool. You didn't model that. You just got that off of Thingiverse or one of those, right? The Kung Fu Fooey. I forgot all about Kung Fu Fooey. That was a stupidly fun cartoon. You gotta do my Muttley. That's what you gotta do, and then paint them. I have a Muttley. Remember a Muttley? Oh, Facebook friend. Well, download my Muttley model and print it and paint it. It's a painting thing I can't do now that I'm half blind. I can't paint anymore. It's funny. That's what I went to college for, was art and graphic design and fine arts and kind of a mixture of all of them. Now I can't do any of it because I can't see straight. My eyes are so shot and hacked up and eye popped out. Don't need to know all that information, but basically my eyes are shot. Yeah, somebody's got to print a Muttley and paint him. Because he's a pretty good model. He came out, considering how quickly I do like everything. It seems like when I actually try and do modeling with like Sculptress or any of them, I don't do very good. If I just do it casually while goofing off, like the Walter head, I just did that in like an hour watching the streams. I was just goofing off, and actually I started doing it because he kept getting the buffering, so the picture would lock up on the screen, and I got one of them just perfect, and I actually snapped a screenshot. I then modeled the Walter head, and that came out pretty good. Sorry, I did that in less than an hour. But then if I actually try to do something I was trying to do his wife, and I just can't get it. I spent hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours on that, and I can't get his wife right. Getting ready for church. Have fun at church. That's almost as boring as me. So anyway, I think Walter and them guys are going to start streaming very soon. So I'm going to bolt, because I actually want to watch some of that, where they have the MMU. And so I'll get off stream so everyone can go watch that. Not that anyone will watch me over that. So I am off. I'm gonna kill it. Thanks for stopping by. I'll always do the thumbs up and all that crap. I'm actually gonna start posting and doing some more fixes, tutorials, modification videos / writings. So you can go to my blog and see some of that stuff if you want. I actually have some pretty interesting stuff that I was actually scanning through that's kind of old but still viable for today. How to center your printer bed so the nozzle's actually starting in the center instead of off to one side. how to square the printer up, test for square. Anyway, check out my blog. I have a lot of stuff on Thingiverse. It'll either be 3D Printing Llama or Tom Llama. One or either. They're both me. Anyway, I'm going to kill it now. Have a wonderful day.